Well, howdy, folks. I'm called Beeman. Check it out. I found my old my sketchbook from high school. This is from the ninth grade. I had to have one of these, and we were supposed to sketch in it every day, as you do with a sketchbook. But I honestly just straight up never used the thing. So I decided I use it for my channel. But since it's so big and unwieldy, I just ripped the page out of it. And that's what we're going to do for today. We're going to try to do a couple of crappy doodles on some thicker sketchbook paper. This is, according to the cover, a 60-pound paper, which is about, I guess, 3 times the thickness of a sheet of printer paper. It's also a little tiny bit bigger, but I don't think that really matters that much. It's 9 by 12, the sketchbook. So let's do some quick doodles here. And because I'm using a new piece of paper, I brought out the pens. I'm going to see how the pens feel on a different piece of paper. Well, it's still pretty smooth. It still feels kind of, doesn't feel like it's got a different texture to printer paper. So I don't think it's going to make that big a difference with the ink. But, you know, just to cover all the bases. So let's start with, what do we start with? Yeah, let's start with our Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Just something comfortable, something easy. It don't really take a whole lot of thought just to do it. I still suck at drawing the stars, but that's okay. And then let's, oof, I'm not very good at drawing circles either, but that's also okay. Let's try to make our garland thicker. There we go. We're incrementally getting better. I think, hopefully. There we go. Hey, I don't look half bad. Now let's do, let's get the ballpoint. It's barely off the side of the screen. And, you know what, I had a thought. Let's try to do the cool S shape. Make sure my pen's even right, and geez. But I had a thought, what if, instead of just making an S, what if it was like a chain or like a rope? What would that even look like? So we're going to do 6 of these. And we'll see what that looks like. I had a brain fart there. I thought I messed it up somehow. Okay. Wow, it's like a little twisted rope. Okay, that worked okay. And as expected, I don't really feel a difference with writing on the heavier paper with the ballpoint. So I don't really think it's going to make that big a difference. You know what? Let's do our little quick test here. We'll do the we'll do a little cube here, and then we'll shade in a face of it. Shade in the side this time, because I'd be interested to see how easily the ink bleeds through, especially with the gel pen. Because I kind of like doing the gel pen. And what do we draw for the gel pen? Let's just do a, you know, instead of doing a rat car, let's try to do a boxy car. I could picture one in my head because it was like the old people car in the 90s. It's like what grandparents would drive around in, but how do I make it, how do I do that on a piece of paper? This is a problem with being bad at art. It's like I feel like I have no creative vision. But you know what? That's okay. That's part of the experience. The more you do it, the more you fiddle around with it, the better you get. So let's go. And they kind of do like that for the windshield, right? Ooba-dooba-doo. Ooba-dooba-doo. Okay. That don't look that bad. And where do the... So let's say it's got window here, window there. The door kind of comes down kind of like that, right? Kind of. Hey, yeah. Which the heck way is the front? I guess this side looks a little longer, so we'll say this is the hood. And we'll just put a little antenna there. A little antenna ball at the end. There we go. A crappy little car. And then we'll put the lights. There we go. Wow. That doesn't look great, but that's okay. It doesn't need to look great. We're just doodling and testing and figuring stuff out, so it's whatever. It's mostly about just got to put in the hours, man. Spend some time doing it, and you'll get better. Now let's do our little cube, and we'll color in the side again. There we go. Let's see how that bled through. Yeah, it bled through a little bit. I don't know if that picks up on the camera or not. It might. I don't know. We'll see. But it kind of bleeds through a little bit. Not as bad as a piece of printer paper. But now let's move on to the Sharpie, the Ultrafine, the crazy micro felt tip thing. I don't know what the heck. It's just an ultrafine marker, I guess. Let's do another one of these because I kind of like how that looked. But this time we're going to alternate the direction of the ropies. I don't know what the heck you call them. Oh, if this even writes. Okay, there we go. Poor old Sharpie. Might be about time to retire this thing, but I don't really have a replacement. Let's go with 6 again. I like even numbers. There we go. And we'll do like this. And then we'll do like this. There we go. I kind of like how that looks, but now it just looks like it's stacked on top of the other one. It's not like it's this one. It actually twists around itself. This one's just kind of layered weirdly. I don't know how I feel about that. But let's do our cube. I feel like the Sharpie ink is going to bleed through something fierce. Just because, I don't know, it seemed to be the most bleed through on the other ones. Let's go. Whoa, bad at drawing straight lines. Look at me go. Let's straighten this out so I don't get too much. Still get some ink flow going. feel like it takes forever to fill in with the ultrafine. Not a fan of that. Okay. Let's see how that bled through. Put a cap on this, baby. Okay. Flip-a-doo. You know what? It did not bleed through as much as I thought it would. The 60-pound paper, well, I guess it's just pretty good. I still wouldn't be able to do it two-sided sketching with the versus over here. You can't even see the pencil at all, but I mean, you can't see pencil on a piece of printer paper either, so it's kind of, I don't know. I kind of like the thicker paper. It's not bad. It's just really old and has a bit of yellowing because I grew up in a house full of smokers, but nicotine stains, you know. Anyways, let's try to do in the middle here. Let's try to do another sketch of bust out the old pencil because I kind of like the pencil. You know what? Let's do a maple leaf. How do you draw a maple leaf? Well, let's start with the stem. And then it kind of has little bits that come out over here, right? Is that about right? And then well, I know it's got like 3 kind of fingers almost. But how do I make that look okay on a piece of paper? Oh, geez. Oh, that is way wrong. Oh, yeah, that's epically bad. Okay, we'll pretend that didn't happen. Let's try to do an oak leaf. Let's just go. Just ignore that for now. An oak leaf is bound to be easier, right? Because it's just like squiggly lines all up and down it. So again, let's start with a stem. It's kind of like so I feel like that's not quite right either. I gotta say, it looks better than that looked a moment ago before I scribbled it out. But it still looks like it's maybe because let's try doing it this way. Give them a little okay, now it feels like they're too big. Draw the vein up the middle of it. See, now that doesn't, I don't know. I got leaves all over the yard still, so I'll go inspect some after this, see what I can see. In the meantime, let's see. I did a boxy car. So similar to this, what if can we draw a tank? What would a tank look like? Well, let's start with the body. Kind of like that, right? And then it has a little bit that goes down here. Kinda. And this is where the tracks kind of go. A little sprocket in the front. A little sprockety do in the back. And they sometimes have a little gun pointing out there. And then something kind of like this for the turret. A big old cannon. That don't look that bad. Sometimes there'd be a hatch up here. And then there could be a little tank commander. Hey! Too small to make eyes on, but you know, it's whatever. How do we draw a helmet on this guy? Okay, that was maybe not the move. There we go, a little tiny tank. Look at that. Now you know what? I think this video is about long enough, so let's call it there. What did we learn in this video? Well, we learned that it's not as difficult as I would have expected to draw a little boxy car and a little boxy tank. Obviously, we could do better on the leaves, but for the tank and stuff, I think they turned out pretty okay. With a little bit, if we do that a couple more times, we'll probably get a little tiny bit better. We made a cool rope over here. And we made this one that doesn't really look like a rope. It just looks like I don't know, a cardboard cutout stacked on top of each other, on top of itself. I don't know. We learned that 60-pound sketchbook paper is, I don't think it's really that much different than a sheet of printer paper, honestly. I think just for if you're like, you just want to get into drawing, just use printer paper. It's everywhere. Stuff is cheap. I got like 6 reams of it in the house. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. If you go to a school, you could probably just sneak a couple of pages, and yeah, it works fine. So I don't think there's any real benefit to getting like a fancy sketchbook. I think one of these things is like, I don't know, $10, $8. I don't know. I'd have to look. I'd have to price it out. It was a lot cheaper in the early 2000s when I got that one, but it's a whole separate issue. It is slightly nicer if you want to draw in inks, but they still kind of bleed through. 60-pound paper still kind of bleeds through a little bit. So you'd need something even heavier than this if you really wanted to focus on inks. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, we're just kind of very gradually making progress with our art skills. So just keep on it, I guess. I'll try to do some doodles off camera to try and improve my skill a little bit. And in the meantime, see ya.